surprise a lot of people, and I think the match itself will blow a lot of minds. And then Sunday, I'll go back to Beyond Wrestling for the first time in a while, not counting Mania weekend. And I'll go one-on-one with Michael Elgin. And everybody loves big guys that throw people around, and we both throw people around. So that makes that match pretty easy to enjoy. Let's see, outside of that, I think next weekend's going to be great. I'm making some new debuts. I'll be headed to Pro Wrestling Revolver, and for the first time ever, it will be me versus Moose. I know that a lot of people have been wanting that match, even as far back as Ring of Honor, like when I was there. So by now, I know a lot of people are kind of salivating for it. So that should be a great fun. And then I'll debut at AAW on 5/6. I have no idea who I'm facing, though. So I'm just looking forward to joining that company, and I hear great things about it, so looking forward to being a part of that. And then, of course, later in the month, it's back to PWG on 5/19 to face Trevor Lee, which should be an extremely good match. And then back to Evolve. So, it's going to be a nice, busy few weeks and keeping it fun. I think I'm going to take off the 5/12 through the 14th weekend, maybe go visit my mother or something, just to get a chance to relax a little bit, decompress, if you will.
Well, I mean, listen, with your schedule, I think saying you deserve a break is an understatement. And before we let you go, I got to ask you, last Friday night, you were in Reseda, California against Jeff Cobb, and then not 24 hours later, you're in the middle of Queens, New York, wrestling Kyle O'Reilly. How difficult is that to do with a 3-hour flight? You're killing each other on Friday night. You fly overnight, you get in, and then you do it all again. How is that something because you've been an athlete your entire life that you're kind of acclimated to, or how? That's the part I think the fans they don't really see. And how difficult was that for you?
Well, let's not forget the fact that I also had a match earlier in the day before Kyle O'Reilly. I also performed on the Tier 1 show. I believe it was The One Who Knocks, and I faced Chris Dickinson there. So I actually had 2 matches that Saturday. And it's definitely not easy. I think that was my second time doing it. I was a little more prepared. The very first time that I did it, I went from PWG back over to Connecticut, and I had a match against Warbeard Hansen for Northeast Wrestling. And, oh, man, the way that it beat my body up and I had not a lot of energy was definitely, it was rough for me, man. I wasn't really prepared for that because I had never done it before. So I was a little more prepared that time. I made sure to try and find food and keep myself well hydrated because for whatever reason, that going from the West Coast to the East really does take a toll on you. I always kind of downplayed people that complained about traveling until I started doing it a lot more. Then I realized traveling itself beats your body up. So I've gained a whole new level of respect for that, and I'm a little more prepared for it these days. So I deal with it a lot better than I did that first time. But I think that having such a passion and love for this kind of helps you get acclimated to this faster than most people would. So it was just a matter of pushing through. I think it was more of a mental thing, especially when it came to the O'Reilly match, because holy crap, that was a really intense match, man. Really intense.
Dude, I hate flying to Pittsburgh from New York. I can't imagine flying cross country and then getting beat up like that. So listen, Keith, I can't tell you how much we appreciate your time on here. I appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And like we said before, bottomlinemerch.com/Keith Lee. Pick up the shirts. They are awesome. And where can people follow you? Where can people find out what you got going on?
Man, the best places are Twitter and Instagram. More so Twitter, but I mean, Instagram's fun. I probably post more more pictures on Instagram than I would on Facebook or Twitter. So, and it's nice and easy. Both are the same. The handles are Real Keith Lee all together. Keith is spelled Keith. Do not do I before E except after C because I don't follow grammar rules. So deal with it. But yeah, those Instagram and Twitter are the best places, and I'm definitely more active on Twitter than anything else.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it. Thank you very much for your time, Keith. We look forward to seeing what we got going on for you, and look forward to seeing you when Evolve returns to New York this summer.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me, dudes. It's a great time.
And guys, that was the limitless one, Keith Lee, Evolve superstar, former Ring of Honor superstar, and a guy that you're going to be hearing a lot about in the next coming months. The guy, Keith Lee, is everywhere, and it was a joy having him on. Really appreciate his time. And, he was on Deadspin, he was on ESPN, he was on Forbes. I feel like the next logical step is the All Night Long Wrestling podcast.
Stands to reason, my friend. That's how it goes. But, yeah, no, that was really great of him to join us for a little bit today. I mean, he is really, for us, I know there's people out there that some people follow just WWE and some people do follow independent wrestling a little more. We try to do both as closely as possible. And as far as independent wrestling goes, I think he's one of, if not the most talked about guy out there right now, with what he's making, making a name for himself. And, he's got into Ring of Honor. He got some more, eyes on him there, and now making a switch to Evolve into a singles competitor. We're continuing his career as a singles competitor prior to his tag team with Shane Taylor. And like you said, he's got interviews. He's talking with ESPN. He's talking with Forbes. So he's got a lot going for him right now. So I really appreciate him coming on the show here and spending a little time with us after working all those matches this past weekend, apparently, and flying across country and doing all that craziness. So
yeah, and I was there watching him take those kicks for Kyle O'Reilly. And Kyle, to his credit, man, that match was hard hitting. That match was brutal back and forth. They were throwing each other around, twisting each other into a pretzel, and it was fantastic. So I'm super excited to have him on. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for Keith Lee, the limitless one.
There he is. So, what happens now? Do we talk about Jinder Mahal for the last 20 minutes? Or
it's a natural segue.
What's the protocol?
Yeah, that's a natural segue. Keith Lee to Jinder Mahal.
Actually, Jinder Mahal is not scheduled on this pay-per-view. So, I guess if you want to, we can jump into our Payback predictions and preview this weekend if you want to close out our show for this week with that.
We could do that, but first I think it's important to remind everybody who brought us here, and that is the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you are listening to Damage 365 Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
And we are back. We are looking at the WWE Payback card, and we are ready to give our thoughts and reviews.
I'm excited. So there's 8 matches on the card right now. One of them is a pre-show match, as we kind of joked about a little earlier.
I said reviews. Sorry, just like 4 seconds later, I realized I said our thoughts and reviews instead of previews.
Okay.
I suck.
We might be able to. We might predict the future. Maybe we're telling people what's going to happen.
I'm going to predict the future.
Predicting.
I'll predict it. This card's not going to be very good.
Yeah. So we kind of joked about it a little earlier, but the pre-show is going to consist of a Miz TV segment with Finn Balor. So Finn Balor does not have a match on the show, and a tag team match with Enzo and Cass against Gallows and Anderson once more. It's the feud that's igniting fans, and people are talking everywhere about this series of Matt Knock. I can't even
I put this right under Keith Lee and Chris Hero series. It's like 1A and 1B. There's no reason for the Enzo and Big Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. And if anything but Gallows and Anderson winning in dominating fashion happens, I'm going to jump out your window.
They did win a tag match against Enzo and Cass on Raw, I think 2 weeks ago. And then last week, there was a 6-man tag.
Oh, I got a bone to pick with you, buddy.
With me.
I got a bone. I meant to talk about this. Can we steer? I want to talk about this real quick before we get into our predictions.
Okay.
Let's talk about Do you play the WWE video games at all?
I got the one from last year. Yes.
Okay. When you store up 2 finishers and then you have the ability to steal your opponent's finisher?
Yes.
Do you think Seth Rollins did that when he played against Kenny Omega and stole his finisher? Ha-boom. Ha-boom. That, my friends, was a good one.
Is that Kenny Omega's finishing move, that move?
He's used it as a finisher, yeah. What do you odd choice for Seth Rollins. Would you agree?
I don't know. I don't know where he goes. I think so. I picked up watching Ring of Honor after he had already left, so I haven't seen a lot of Tyler Black matches in ROH. I think his finisher there was the blackout.
Right, that was like a
springboard knee.
Yeah.
So I guess if this is his new finisher, which is kind of like the, whatever you want to call it, the
what does he call it? Does he have a name for it?
I don't know if he has a name for it yet. It's like
should you call it the Alpha and Omega type?
The pole, like, I don't know, whatever, like the way the Rainmaker works, only he spins the guy into a jumping knee. So maybe like knee strikes are his thing. I don't know. So I don't know if it surprises me that he went with it or not. I haven't seen him use it previously. Maybe he did in the past. I don't really know. But no, I mean, I think the whole idea of him using the pedigree for a while was because of the whole connection with Triple H. And now that that's pretty much over with, at least for the time being, he definitely needed a new finisher. Curb Stomp has been banned. And that jumping springboard knee strike, I don't know if that's really visually a good finisher. I mean, he's used it in matches before and not really gotten a lot of false finishes out of it. So
Phoenix Splash, that was a finisher. We knew that.
Phoenix Splash, yeah. I've seen him do too. He kind of busts that out on special occasions. So yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I don't know I'm not necessarily, I guess, surprised. I didn't really know what he would come up with. I was hoping he would come up with something new. So I'm just glad that he does have something that's not the pedigree anymore. Yeah,
me too. The pedigree was terrible. Did you see what Kenny Omega tweeted?
Yeah, I don't know.
You just said at least he still has his entrance music.
Yeah. I mean, did Kenny Omega invent that move? I don't think that he did. So
I don't know if he might. I know he actually did invent the Angel's Wings. Not the Angel's Wings. The One-Winged Angel. Sorry, Angel's Wings was Daniels.
Yeah.
So it's just, move stealing, career-ending Seth Rollins. No, I'm just kidding. I do like it better than I really do like it better than the pedigree, because I know the pedigree, I think is terrible and it's played out. But, Seth Rollins is such an athletic guy. I mean, there's better options for him. And this finisher is definitely better than the pedigree.
Yeah.
So let's just go with that.
Okay, he moved on.
Yeah. Speaking of moving on, let's move on from Enzo and Big Cass to Gallows and Anderson. Who you got winning this?
I'll take Gallows and Anderson. I mean, last week on Raw they did the 6-man. That's I think how we got into that. And that's a divert into anything. But yeah, they had like a 6-man. They took Enzo out of the match with an injury and replaced him with Finn Balor.
What a surprise, Enzo!
So it was really weird. So I'm gonna guess that Luke Gallows and Anderson will win here. So then on the main card, there's seven matches. Looks like 5 titles are on the line if I'm counting properly. So I guess let's start with the women's match. It's Bayley against Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. I think that this is in Bayley's hometown, right? San Jose. I think that's the whole
right. So she's going to lose. Yeah.
And Bliss won, I think, a 4-way match or something on Raw to win the number 1 contender shot. So this is her. She just moved over to the Raw brand. She's got immediately a title shot against Bayley in San Jose. I'm going to say Bayley retains it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I feel like the longer-term plan, assuming that they actually have one, is to have Bayley and Sasha Banks face each other down the line. I don't know if that's going to be closer to SummerSlam or what they're going to do with that. But I'm going to say that Bayley will find a way to keep it here in her hometown against Alexa Bliss.
Does Bayley win, or does Sasha accidentally cause Bayley to lose? That's what I'm really torn between. I'm going to say the title goes over to Alexa Bliss. And what's her name? Who's the one that almost killed Charlotte like 5 times?
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax may act as Alexa Bliss's muscle for a little while. But I see Sasha inadvertently costing Bayley the title in her hometown.
Okay. Let's go to that U.S. title match next. So we talked about it a little earlier. It's Kevin Owens, who's the U.S. champion now on SmackDown, against Chris Jericho. for the U.S. title. I don't know what the deal is here, but at least the one thing I guess we do know is that if Jericho wins, he's definitely going to SmackDown. I don't know what happens to Owens after that. But anyway,